so we can kind of see it's starting to come together now. You can see I'm not a slave to the original coloured lines. I'm kind of always looking at the reference and thinking, okay, well, that bit may need to be a bit different here and there, and again, I'm not too worried if it's not exact, because I can always change things later. That's the beauty of living in the digital age, is that I can scan, you know, everyone can scan things into Photoshop or whatever, and quite easily make changes. I'm happy if I can kind of get a sketch to about 75 or 80%. If I'm happy with the lightness that far, then I know it's not going to be a big deal to just go in and tweak a few things. And sometimes I'll be happy with something, but then I'll kind of scan it in and take a look at it again, maybe reverse it, flip it over, which is something I do quite a lot, just to see any mistakes. Or I may just want to try a couple of different exaggeration choices, something like that, you know. Digital's great for that. When I was starting out, I used to feel like I was cheating quite a bit by using digital tools and using things like distort and warp and whatnot in Photoshop or any other program. It's just a tool like any other. It's different if you're using those things on a photograph and calling it a caricature, but if you're using it to tweak and kind of adjust something you've already drawn, it's just another tool of your trade, you know. Made me peace with that a long time ago. Right. Look at these ridiculous guns, honestly. One thing I don't like to do is spend a ton of time shading as well. I mean, you can see I'm going quite fast for the sake of this video. I might, you know, maybe slow down and do it a little bit slower if I weren't filming the process. But at any time, I don't like to spend hours and hours and hours on sketches. Quite impatient like that. I like to get the essence kind of whacked down on the page and move on to the next thing, really. Oh, that's my tummy rumbling. Shouldn't have skipped dinner. The same goes for the shading. You can see I'm just looking kind of at where the areas of light and dark are, and I'm just popping some bits in just to sort of suggest it more than anything. Because I know if I want to take it further, well, first of all, I'd be inking it, and I'd probably add a little bit of shading or cross hatching or something to the inked version. Let's just sharpen my pencil. But also I tend to, well, almost always colour and shade digitally. So I know that's going to do a lot of the heavy lifting as well. Alright. So even when I get a sketch that I'm kind of happy with, even after I've maybe tweaked it in Photoshop or whatever, that's not necessarily the end of it. When you get into inking and things, I mean, there's still room for improvement there. pads of the hands, fingers, sorry. I've always been a bit rubbish at drawing hands. I have good days and bad days. I really should be one of those artists that fills sketchbooks full of hands, but I've always been rubbish at keeping a sketchbook. So I just kind of learn as I go along, you know, and sometimes I get a hand that I'm quite happy with. Alright, just put a bit of shade in there. Tell you what, we can see this side of Dutch's face is in quite heavy shadow here, so I may just pop in a little bit of that. Again, if I'm going to do shading, it tends to be very simple, either just a bit of line work or just some straightforward cross hatching, which is what I'm going to do to suggest his moustache here. He's darker on the chin here as well. I quite often use grey markers as well rather than use shading. I'll pull the grey markers out and just put a few bits of shadow and highlights and things in. Right. Okay. That vein on his arm, blimey. Maybe missed that. There we are. Again, that's something that if I were going to take this further, I wouldn't need that to be ink necessarily. I might just let the digital colour and take care of the vein on the arm, or the veins. Okay, right, so that's kind of decent, and yeah, let me just make it a little bit darker around the eyes here. Arnold's always had this like very, very sort of pronounced kind of macho brow. Yeah, that's better. And sort of leaves his eye area in very, very deep shadow. Right. Okay, I think we'll leave that there. That's just a peek into how I do my sketching process, how I start it. I can already see, if I look at the reference, point the reference out here again. I mean, his arm actually looks a little bit weird in the reference even. It looks a little bit too small just because of the angle of it. So it was maybe always going to come out a little bit weird. But I can see it's too high for starters. You know, I'll probably put this hand there a little bit further down. This forearm's a bit skinny. And I would probably even make these ridiculous biceps even bigger and things, you know. There's lots of things I would probably tweak. I'd maybe actually make this head smaller to make the body look bigger. But the point is that I want, you know, in the sketch process, I like to get to a stage where there's a recognisable likeness and I'm happy with the exaggeration and things like that. So I hope you've enjoyed this, and I hope to do another one soon. Thank you for joining me. Bye for now.